Hi, folks. So this video number 3 is about expectations and tips for success in this type of classroom environment, because it might be very different from what you're used to in a traditional classroom, where the teacher is going to sing and dance in front of you for 15 or 20 or 30 minutes, then you're going to do a worksheet, then you're going to move on to the next thing the next day. There's a lot more personal responsibility that goes on, and ultimately, I think a lot more learning that happens in this type of class. But it is an adjustment. It might be a little rocky for the first week or two, but I promise you'll get it. So in the last video, we covered those procedures. If you're not sure exactly like how to progress through a unit, rewatch that video, ask friends, and if you need to, check in with me. Today, I'm going to explain sort of my expectations and tips for success. So number one, my expectations are learning comes first. That's first and foremost in my class. So anything that's going to detract from our learning environment, I'm going to try to cut out. I'm always going to try to look for best practices. I want what's best for my students to help them learn, right? And what's best for my students is not always which is most comfortable for my units. So I may challenge you at some points, like by mixing up seating arrangements or by giving you a challenging assignment. That's good for your learning. But things that are detracting to our learning environment are, number one, cell phones. If you haven't written me that cell phone essay yet, you don't get to use a cell phone, not even to watch the videos. So just keep those away. And number two is a disrespectful environment. So we need to be aware that a lot of different people are working on a lot of different things. At any given point in the class, we might have someone who's taking a quiz or taking notes. And we need to be respectful and kind and aware that there are other people in the world around us, right? So always be quiet, always be collaborative, but in productive, respectful ways. Also, I expect you to do your best, right? Every day, I want you to show up and give me your absolute best to work towards proficiency and mastery of these units. Now, we do have good and bad days, right? No one comes into school and has 100% great days where they can always progress forward. And English is the most important thing on your mind every day you wake up, right? That doesn't happen. So I understand that you're going to have bad days, and that's the beautiful thing about this self-paced unit is that if you are going through a rough patch, you can figure things out, you can slow down a little bit, but then I do expect you to catch that upswing, figure things out, and catch back up with the class if you need to. It is self-paced, but time is not infinite, right? So I expect you to try and adhere to our suggestions for at least the must-do lessons. So you have to get through at least the must-do lessons by the end of the semester. Otherwise, you're not going to pass this class because I haven't seen the absolute minimum what I need to in order to evaluate you. So self-paced, but you don't have infinite amount of time. So you've got to find some motivation, kick yourself in the butt a little bit. All right, some tips for success is I want you to build a routine for learning, not just completing assignments, right? So your goal should be, I need to learn this, not just I need to get this done. So don't just go through the motions. I can't tell you how many times I've seen students rush through the notes, rush through the practice assignments, and then absolutely bomb the mastery check. And that's actually going to create more work for you because when you retake a mastery check, I'm going to make you evaluate every question you got wrong. You have to write me an explanation of like, here's why I got it wrong, here's what the right answer is, here's why it's the right answer. So by rushing through this stuff, you're actually going to build yourself more work because you'll have to go back and redo the entire lesson and write me an explanation of a mastery check and complete another mastery check. So to help you actually learn things is use some metacognitive strategies. Hopefully we've talked about these in class so far. So test yourself as you're going through lessons. Use your notes and those retrieval practices as learning tools. Reflect, review, and evaluate. Am I actually learning this stuff? Is what I'm doing to learn this stuff working? Or even just like study for the first 5 minutes of each class period to review your notes and start committing some things to memory before you jump into the next lesson or the next practice. Another thing you can do to have success is set yourself a specific daily goal. Make sure it's measurable and achievable. For example, I'm going to complete notes from my assignment 202. That's a very specific thing that you could get done within a class period. Not, I'm going to work on my assignments and get them done, right? That's not an achievable or measurable goal. Because I could work on my assignments for 3 minutes and be like, hey, accomplished my goal. I worked on them. I didn't get anything done, but I worked on them. Also for success, this is self-paced, but it's not independent and collaboration is encouraged. I have you sitting in groups so you guys can talk through and work on these practice assignments in groups. The only thing you have to do completely independently is your mastery checks. So please talk to each other, ask each other questions, work on the practice assignments in groups with the people sitting around you. That's why I have you arranged the way that you are. All right, and with that, Hopefully you can set some specific learning strategies and some goals. And now it's time to get started on our first unit. Good luck, folks.